What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Long Days with Yannis Pappas. I am travel weary, probably got the Omicron, but my antibodies, which are tiny little Joe Rogans, are fighting back, but they are also under attack because they're distracted by being under attack by Twitter. So Omicron might sneak one past the goalie and get into the net, which is my cute ass fucking lungs. But I am back in New York. I feel fine. I just had a gummy. Jared Harvin's in the studio. Jesse Scaturo is behind the wheels of keys. The keys of wheels. And we are ready to rock. What a week we have going on. Everyone is under fire right now. Joe Rogan, Jonathan Allen, Chapelle. Of course we knew about Whoopi. And we got, guess who? Billie Eilish is under fire. From not the left-wing media, but from Kanye, who you could also consider the right-wing media. Everyone is being asked to apologize. Meanwhile, there is a blockade at the border between Canada and the United States. Usually when you hear there's a problem at the border, you don't look up, you usually look down. But right now we got a problem at the northern border, which usually you can just walk through with a smile and a good day and a bottle of maple syrup. But right now, the truckers are blocking all the bridges and really messing up the supply chain, import-export business between Canada and the U.S. What is Justin Trudeau gonna do? We will give you the latest. The CIA, in released documents, has been secretly conducting massive surveillance on all of us. At this point, dude, you gotta just be okay with who you are and what you jerk off to. Because there's a bunch of suits in D.C. that got a whole file on you and know every single thing you've looked at. You can't get away with murder, you can't cheat on your wife anymore, and you can't jay off to a little offbeat, out-of-the-box porn anymore without people knowing what kind of freak you are. It's just what it is at this point. They know everything. The homeless have disappeared from Los Angeles. Where did they go? Oh, I know where they went. The Super Bowl's coming into town. So the homeless all got bus tickets, and they are headed to San Francisco. Where in San Francisco, you can't tell who's homeless or who's just living in San Francisco. That's always a fun game you can play. Homeless or San Francisco progressive. You don't know the difference. Joey Biden's giving away free crack pipes. I didn't know this was 1988. I mean, who's still smoking crack? Dog, if you're still smoking crack, that's like still having a DVD player, okay? We've moved on to fentanyl, all right? What do you got? AOL fucking 2-point lead, too? What do you got, AOL mail? What do you got, dial-up modem? I mean, what are we talking about? And one of my favorite stories we'll get to is a nun is in trouble for using $850,000 of the Catholic Church's money for her gambling problem. And how old is that nun? She's in her 80s, I think. Yeah, so basically, she's the coolest fucking nun to ever walk the face of the earth. And if there's going to be a little bit of the big man upstairs' retribution on what the Catholic Church has done, why not let it be a nun stealing $850 to gamble on football? This is Long Days. You're about to enter the Fediverse. What is the deal?
Yannis Pappas. Yeah. When you all tucked up in the day been long, and the news online going on and on, what's right and wrong, and it's something up. Now here comes a great kid you know you can trust. From the true who's who to the news and cameras, to the fake politics and the propaganda. Yeah, this kid screwed in, got a lot to say. Oh shit, it's about to be a long day. It's a long day. It's a long day.
All right, everybody, just want to tell you about the Long Days tour. I will be live in your town if you live in these towns. So I apologize right now to people in Edmonton and New Westminster. Those shows are going to be postponed. COVID, personal stuff. I won't be able to make those dates, unfortunately, but they will be postponed. Your tickets will be honored, and we will get out there to Canada, and hopefully I'll be bringing Jared Harvin with me. Hopefully Jared Harvin will be with me for all these dates. Bloomington, Minnesota, March 3rd through the 5th. Get those tickets. Roar Comedy Club, Springfield, Massachusetts, just added March 18th through the 19th. So that's Bloomington, Minnesota, March 3rd through the 5th. Roar Comedy Club, Springfield, Mass, 18th through the 19th. Then San Antonio, March 24th through the 26th at LOL Comedy Club. Then House of Comedy in Phoenix, April 14th through the 16th. Get your tickets. And then we're doing a theater at the Rogue Island Comedy Fest in Newport, Rhode Island. Jared Harvin will definitely be with me for that. That's going to be real fun. Newport is the best. Hopefully Jesse will come out. That'll be May 28th. Rogue Island Comedy Fest, Newport, Rhode Island. Then we're going to be at Uncle Vinny's all the way in September in New Jersey, Point Pleasant. So if you want to get tickets for that, that's September 9th and 10th. Go to YannisPappasComedy.com for all your tickets. Now enjoy this hell of an episode. We had a good time. Me and Jared were on the road. Thank you to everybody who came out in Philly to see us at Soul Joel's, and also who came and saw us in Tampa at Side Splitters. We love you. Enjoy the app. All right, so everyone's currently under fire. All your heroes right now. You don't know who your heroes are going to be right now. And this is the era where everyone likes to have a hero and a villain. We live in sort of like a cartoon where people are either like superheroes or villains. No shades of gray. Nobody's in 3D. Very one-dimensional. It's almost like you can see people moving around their action figures. It's like whenever they talk about AOC, they just move their AOC doll on the floor, and they're like, here comes Trump, dun, dun, dun. And they play like the Darth Vader music, and then Hillary comes along, and they just move their action figures along, right? It's like WWE, you know, Hulk Hogan, and then all of a sudden you find out something bad about him, and now he's Hollywood Hogan. Right now they're doing that to Chapelle. Chapelle used to be everyone's hero. Everyone loved Chapelle, right? And for those people who advocate the conspiracy that it's just a hit job, you're starting to get a lot of evidence for that, because a lot of those people predict, they go, watch, it'll be one thing, then they'll go to another thing, and then they'll go to another thing. With Rogan, it was racism, with an N-word compilation that did not make him look great. But in his defense, if you made an N-word compilation of anyone, it's not going to look great, okay? Everyone has said a slur at some point. It's either recorded or not recorded. Unfortunately for him, he records himself a lot. Because guess what? I saw a Howard Stern compilation with blackface, and there was more N-words in the unedited version than there was in 12 years of Rogan's podcast. And that was just one script and one episode of Howard Stern. Lot to talk about there. Lot to talk about. We're going to talk about it right now. And we got Jared Harvin in here. We got Jesse in here. So we got a Jew, a black, and a Greek. All we need is an Asian woman and Hari Kondabolu in here, and we'd have all our bases covered on what we can and can't say, okay? All three of us come from oppressed people in one way or the other. So we're coming from a perspective where our ancestors were, you know, proverbially, that's a tough one when you're Yanni LongDays. Proverbially.
Keep going.
Proverbially.
Getting better.
Proverbially.
Just slow it down. You kind of sound like Sean King right now.
Proverbially.
Good.
Got it. That's a tough one.
Let's just hope you're not the judge.
Effigy, proverbially.
Let's just hope you never become the judge of a spelling bee, dog. Because if they ask you to use that shit in a sentence, they are spelling that shit wrong.
Yeah, why did I just sound like a Chinese immigrant at a ESL class? I was really struggling with those R's. Some stereotypes are true, and we'll get into that as well, on why certain groups flock to certain things. It's because culturally they like different things. Sometimes even, you know, their environments make them better at certain stuff. You know, you got Kenyans. When's the last time a Kenyan didn't win the marathon? When did that happen? I don't remember. You know, we'll get into that. We got a lot to get into, but let's start with good old Dave Chapelle. So Dave Chapelle, obviously, He came under fire by the group that Dave Chapelle would make a special about. That's what we call them now, to avoid any sort of matrix box being alerted. We just call that a group of which Dave Chapelle might make a special about. So he came under fire by that group that he may make a special about. And since then, he's under the microscope. Because once it seems like you upset the group that Dave Chapelle might make a special about, they start looking. Any move you make, it's like you're under surveillance. It's like they got drones probably outside your house. They probably divert some of the military budget to just follow Dave Chapelle and just wait for anything that they can pin on him. So what happened is Dave Chapelle, who lives in Yellow Springs, Ohio, apparently his dad lived there. His parents were divorced. His mom's from D.C.
He spent his summers there as a kid.
He spent his summers there, and now he makes every comedian go there and perform in some, tick and mosquito-infested field.
Yeah, he's the Black Soul Joel.
He's the Black He was the Black Soul Joel during the pandemic. He had two options during the pandemic. One of which was to go to Soul Joel's and perform outside of a railroad track by a river in Royersford, Pennsylvania. And the other one was to go to Yellow Springs, Ohio. Two places that you never thought comedy would thrive. One produced by Dave Chapelle, who you'd think was a white guy, and the other one, by name only, named Soul Joel, who you'd think was a black guy. But the opposite is true. Dave Chappelle's black, and Soul Joel is a white guy. And one of them pays and the other one doesn't. And it's also not who you'd think. So if you go to Soul Joe's, you get paid. If you go to Dave Chappelle's little fucking shows, no money. No money. It's just you're happy to be there and get your pictures taken in black and white with cigarette smoke, all dramatic, like you're Jack Kerouac.
You do it for exposure.
Yeah, I mean, the kid can't stop taking black and white photos. He walks around with some photographer and he's just like, yo, dog, just make me look iconic. I'm the GOAT. And make sure every picture has some sort of smoke machine. I think sometimes there's no cigarettes in there. His photographer just walks around with a smoke machine, and sometimes they just Photoshop Talib Kweli in there. So Dave Chapelle, I mean, Talib Kweli can't be everywhere Dave Chapelle is. Every picture, somehow Talib Kweli is there. And Michael Che with his hat on and a drink in his hand. I like they're the new Rack Pack, you know? So he's under fire now because what happened is affordable housing. Some developer was trying to develop an affordable housing complex in Yellow Springs. Now, I'll just start by saying this. Where I live right now, okay, I'm not involved in the local community. I live in a small community, much like Dave Chapelle now. I don't know who's on the council or who's the town supervisor. I don't know any of that stuff. But if I read in the local paper that they were thinking about bringing in an affordable housing complex to my neighborhood, the first thing I'm going to do the next hour of that day is find out everyone's name of the local town. And I will be attending the meetings. And those meetings, I will be raising my hand and going, I object. I object. I object. Okay? Anyone would do it. Nobody wants their town to change. Nobody wants their property value to be messed with. You know, everyone's a good person. Just like the great George Carlin said, until it's in your backyard. When it's in your backyard, everyone's a hypocrite. That's why everyone is a liberal until you get mugged, right? Everyone's walking around like we should all be one. Everything's great. And everyone's just one mugging away from switching to conservative. Every person who's yelling defund the cops is one mugging away from going refund the cops. We're all self-interested pieces of garbage. And we've lost that humility about ourselves. We've lost that awareness about our own hypocrisy. And it's really led to this culture now, this sanctimonious culture where everyone thinks they're better than everyone else. And they're yelling at everyone else and pointing fingers. Dave Chappelle's a bad person. You would do the same thing if you were a $100 million celebrity who lived in his own paradise. You don't want anything coming in. Because you're Dave Chapelle and you like things the way that they are. It's his area. He's made it famous. He's the richest person there, the most famous person there. If you're going to try to do anything, you better get his approval, okay? Because if he leaves Yellow Springs, guess what? Guess what comes to Yellow Springs? Fentanyl. Captain Fentanyl. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's all that's going on in towns like Yellow Springs. It's either you got someone like Dave Chapelle puts your place on the map, brings, Jon Stewart. Donnell Rawlings just lives there during the summer. I think he's got his own canoe. I think Donnell's just a resident Yellow Springs comedian. It's just Dave and Donnell's just there. And what's her name?
Michelle Wolf.
Michelle Wolf and Donnell are just live in Yellow Springs now, I believe, on Dave Chappelle's property somewhere. Or you just have an Applebee's and fentanyl problem. Those are your options. You want Bill Burr coming to your town for no pay, or you want a fentanyl and Applebee's 2 for $20 menu. It's your choice, Yellow Springs, and that's essentially what Dave Chapelle did. He went into that meeting and he said, "I can't believe you're making me audition for this. I'm Dave Chapelle. He goes, "I will pull my $65 million." Imagine just being able to say that. That must be a beautiful thing to have fuck you money like that. Just walk in and just throw your power around. He just walked in and he must have spoke for 30 seconds. His speech was really quick. This is him walking into a town hall meeting? What do you do in Silver Springs? What is it called again? Yellow Springs.
Yeah.
He knew the woman by name. He was like, "I can't believe you're making me do this, Marsha."
Go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Dave Chapelle. I just want to say, and Marianne, I can talk to you about this privately.
Marianne.
I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while they X out a $65 million a year company. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I am not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. That's all. Thank you.
Yellow Springs, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dave Chappelle's personal history, but he walked away from $100 million. No, $50 million from Comedy Central. He will walk away from Yellow Springs.
Yep.
He will set up shop in Purple Springs or some Indian name lake community.
Yeah.
You ever notice those country communities? It's always like, "Come to Chappaquiddick Falls." It's always named after some Indian tribe that got exterminated there, and now it's just a suburban complex. I wouldn't mess with. He's not bluffing. He will pull his money out.
He will pull his money out.
He will pull $65 million out. Now, apparently he owns a restaurant, or he's opening a restaurant there.
I believe he's opening a restaurant and a comedy club.
He's opening a restaurant and a comedy club. We'll see. I mean, there's another guy in Austin that said he was opening a comedy club. Yet to be seen.
Got a little delayed
Because he got a little sidetracked with the vaccine. He got a little obsessed with the vax. But hopefully now that's finished, that would be great if there was. Imagine if Yellow Springs and Austin, Texas, become like the epicenters for comedy. I think that would be great, because for comedy to be great, it has to be like the perennial underdog. It's got to be for the people. That's why comedians, once they start flying in private jets and all that, they stop being funny, because you can't complain. You got to be miserable. You got to be with the people. You got to have your feet on the ground. That's why Eddie Murphy stopped doing comedy. Steve Martin. You get too rich, you get too successful. What are you going to do? Just stand up there and be like, "Oh, man, let me tell you about what my private pilot did today." Don't you guys hate it when you go into Chanel and they don't got the purse you want to get for your wife?
Yep.
It's just not funny. So comedy thrives in places like that. That would be awesome if Chappelle opened a club and Rogan opened a club, and it would also officially mark like the beginning of like a comedy world that was run by comedians, by icons, instead of an industry of restaurant owners or whoever these people are that were the gatekeepers before the internet. That would be great. So I hope he opens a comedy club there. But yeah, there you have it. He went into that. He lives in a village. I think to be a village, you have to have like, what? I think a town is thousands of people. I think a village is hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So he lives in a community of hundreds. Dude, if any of you people who are criticizing Dave Chapelle were in Dave Chappelle's shoes, you would do the same thing. Okay? But also, I want to remind Dave Chapelle, remember this, Dave. Okay? Remember this. Like, whenever you try to make a point about something, just remember it's easy to make a point about something when it's not in your backyard. Everyone is a social justice warrior when it's not in their backyard. Once it comes to their backyard, they're like, you know what? I'm the most conservative man you've met. When everyone is very bleeding heart until they have what they call an acre in their name. And then they're like, get off my goddamn property. Do whatever you got to do to keep these poor people off my property.
It's a matter of proximity, problems.
Always. That's the great George Carlin. George Carlin made that great point, And so people really need to stop acting holier than thou. I think that's what the theme for me, the theme that has become prevalent, salient to me in all of this, like the permeating theme of all these stories. Chappelle, Whoopi, Rogan, now Jonathan Allen, Trevor Noah's involved in this, Michael Ian Black, the Young Turks. I'm just going off like the Twitter controversy, Joe Rogan. Everyone has to stop acting holier than thou and have this puritanical sort of a witch hunt mentality where they're going after other people like they themselves haven't done anything. Like I've said, every single person who's walked the face of the earth has said something inappropriate or offensive at some point. Saying something inappropriate or offensive doesn't mean you're a horrible person. In the same way as we should know now, being a clean, family-friendly comedian doesn't mean you're a clean, family-friendly person.
Yep.
Often the two don't go together. I can think of right now, without naming names, 3 or 4 clean, family-friendly comedians who, at the very least, are drop-down drunks in real life. And one of which I can think, 2 of which I can think of now, have been accused of rape. Okay? One named, and the other one named Vince Champ, who a lot of people don't know about.
No, I actually heard about Vince Champ.
You heard about Vince Champ. Vince Champ was a comedian, successful. He was on The Tonight Show back in that day, very hard to do. Squeaky clean, known to be squeaky clean.
Black, too.
Huh?
Black comic.
Why you got to point out that he was black, dog? I wasn't going to go there. Were you racist?
No, I just had to say it.
You had to say it.
It seemed like you.
I get it, dude. When look, that's what all ethnic groups should do. That's what Greeks do. If a Greek fucks up, we disown him. We go fuck. We only claim Greeks will only talk about the successful Greeks. Mm-hmm. The other ones, we're like, you can have them. We don't want them anymore.
I'm all about equality. I'll claim them all. Son.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Vince Champ, as Jared pointed out, he was black. That's not really germane to what he did at all. But he, it's a crazy story. So he used to walk around, just to give you a little background on who he is. He was very sanctimonious with other comics, much like Cosby. The thing he had in common with Cosby, not only the rape, but he gave other comedians a hard time about cursing. Like all the time. Vince Champ would be like, man, why you gotta be dirty? Why you gotta curse? This and that. And he was very clean, known to be clean. And as it turned out, he was caught violently raping women in colleges he was performing at. And the way they caught him was because the rapes matched up with his touring schedule. What he would do is he would rape the women, he'd sodomize them. Google that word if you don't know, otherwise it's me. And then he would make them pray with him afterwards. And he was finally caught, and he's still in jail. I think he's getting out in 2039, and he'll be back on the road. I guess I guess when he gets out, he'd be like, "Yo, dogs." I mean, because comedians never stop. Comedians and politicians never stop. Like Jerry Seinfeld, you got $300 million. Why are you coming down to Gotham Comedy Club to do old material? Jerry Seinfeld will come into Gotham on a Tuesday and do polished material from the 90s. You're going, why are you doing this? If you're going to be here, at least work on some new shit. Why are you doing material from the 90s? And why are you even leaving the Hamptons? You have a $300 million. But comedy is that type of addiction that people just, Bob Saget, back on the road. He was 65. You know how much money that dude has?
Yeah.
So I imagine that Vince Champ, once he gets out, will start hitting open mics again. But squeaky clean comedian. So what people say is not necessarily who they are. And in fact, I would sometimes and often be more skeptical of the clean comedians.
What are you trying to balance out?
What are you trying to hide?
Yeah.
Because look, the worst people don't announce that they're bad.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of the expression wolf in sheep's clothing? If someone's a wolf and they come into the room and announce they're a wolf, they're not going to be able to get a lot done. You walk into the room and you pretend to be a sheep. That's how you trick people.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? Ted Bundy didn't go, hey, can you get in my car? I'm going to bite your boobie off.
Yeah.
No. He went, oh, my arm's broken. Can you help me? Oh, I'll give you a ride. He pretended to be the opposite of what he was. That's what bad people do a lot of the time. They pretend to be the opposite of what they are to employ chicanery, to trick you. Get smarter! Chicanery is a good word. You should know it. Everyone should know how to speak the full English language. Now we just speak American, which is about a quarter of the English language. And that's why the Brits make fun of us. We should know more vocabulary words. Maybe we wouldn't have to say like all the time. Like. The reason why we say like is because we don't have a wide variety of vocabulary. Now I just sound like a boomer.
No, you are right. That is
I'm
correct.
right, though,
You
right?
are right. Even though chicanery sounds like a Cuban politician, but you are completely
It
correct.
does, or it sounds like a Cuban dish.
Yeah.
Can I get this? Let me get the chicanery with a side of huevos.
Mild or spicy.
Yeah, mild and spicy. I'll take my chicanery with the capote sauce on the side.
Yeah, you are right about this whole Chapelle thing. It's like, not everyone is as it may seem, but not everyone's perfect. And you can't hold someone to a certain status, no matter what the celebrity that they reach to or whatever. They're entitled to their own opinions. You can't cancel them for it.
Right. And also the Jews. This is what I admire about the Jewish. I followed up with this is what I admire. So at least that's good. This is what I admire about the Jewish religion that a lot of people don't talk about a lot, because they don't care if we're in, like, Jews don't, like we've said before, they don't care if you're Jew, they're not trying to recruit more Jews. Which is kind of hurt. Like, if you're an oppressed minority, you might want to recruit some more people just so you can have the numbers on your side.
Yeah.
But, they don't. But this is what I love about the Jewish religion. This is a very good aspect of it, is that it's more about the action than the intention or the thought. That's how they deal with things. They don't consider impure thoughts to be a sin, as like the Christians and maybe Muslims, I don't know enough about it, do. And that's why you always find these Christians beating themselves up all the time, like having these thoughts, like Catholic priests just whipping themselves because they want to get their noodle wet, Whereas Jews look at it more as the action. Mm-hmm. They go like, having thoughts is human. It's like what you do. What do they call it? Mitzvahs. It's like you do mitzvahs. The mitzvahs means like good deeds. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter. You can have the worst thoughts in the world. They're just thoughts. It's more based on what you do, how you're judged. By Yahweh, by the big Jew in the sky who's got the book of judgment, the King Yarmulke, the head frisbee king. And I like that. That makes more sense to me, because thoughts come and go. Everyone has thoughts. Everyone has said some stuff, It's why do you said it? And what are you doing when you say it? And what's the purpose of what you're saying? It's like just saying a word, just saying a slur. What does that mean? That doesn't tell, that's not telling of who the person is necessarily. It could be, but often it's not. So, obviously that's why Chappelle's under fire for the words he spoke in his special about a group that he would make a special about. Rogan's under fire for throwing more M-bombs in a compilation than a Mobb Deep album.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast or a self-tape of somebody reading for a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Right, or it could have been a Quentin Tarantino movie, right? He's had a few M-bombs in there,
Some real ones.
Said through the characters. He's like, oh, these are who these people would be in my script. So he's like, this is how they would talk. So, boom, that's art based on life. That word does exist in the real world. People use it. People use it differently too. And the few times in the compilation that Rogan was talking about it, the last one is a tough one to explain.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
That's really the one that got him in trouble.
Yeah,
was the Planet of the Apes one.
Yeah.
That's just coming from an Italian kid from Boston. But let me tell you, Rogan is definitely the least racist Italian guy from New England. You can believe that.
Yep.
Because when it comes to racism in Boston, they're pretty good. You could nominate them as like who's the most. You're like they do a good racism in Boston. They are racist in Boston. So the last one is the one that was like, oh, but the other ones he was talking about the N-word, who can say it, how you say it, the contexts, and to piggyback off that a little bit. I mean, the meaning of words change a lot. Like the word in England means a cigarette, right? Used to be it's also a stick, like like little sticks that you can burn, make a bonfire.
Yeah.
They used to, when they burned like witches, they would do it like, they would call it on, right? Maybe that's the etymology of the word. If you don't know the word etymology, get smarter. Etymology means the origin of the word and the journey it's gone on, and the meanings and how they've changed. But in America, it's a slur. But in England, can I bum a people reach for a cigarette.
Yeah.
Even saying it here, I feel like I'm saying something back. But if I was in England, it's not bad.
Yeah.
You say cunt over there, that's just kind of like, that's like how the Greeks say malaka. Ella malaka. You say cunt here, you're like, you can't say that. But in England, they call, as the great Jason Rouse had he's like, that's more of a greeting for you people. That was his joke. He's like, you cunt, mate. It's like, stop it, officer. That was his joke. So words mean different things at different times to different people. And I think the most powerful thing a group can do, and you often see that, is they'll take the word and steal the meaning of it and make it their own to get rid of the evil meaning behind it, to rid it of the evil context. And that's the best thing you can do with the word, in my opinion. And that's what black people have done with the N-word. They've gone, we're going to take that word and make it more what we want it to be about and less what you make it about.
Yeah. We appropriated it.
Appropriated the word, say, nah, you can't use that now. We use that.
Yeah.
And we use that as in a positive way.
Yeah.
It's like, it means everything from this guy over here, my man. Mm-hmm. It has a wide variety of meanings. It doesn't just mean what it used to mean. And that's a good thing. That's great. Because that's how you really get the racism out of the word. Because some racist comes from like Mississippi up to New York, for example, and he tries to say that word, and people are just going, oh, what? He goes like, look at that N-word over there. And everyone's going like, why? Do you know him? Is that your friend? And he's like, no, I'm talking about that N-word. And they're like, yeah, did you guys go to high school together? Are you from college? I mean, you're talking like you know him well. And then it's just fucking, his head explodes because he's lost the word. He's lost control of the word. That's the way you do it. But people get very nervous around talking about the word. And that was one of the contexts that Rogan was talking about when he said the word. And it does. And then the word with the ER, when you, what is the bird joke? When you, the hard landing on the ER, when you stick he stuck the landing on the ER. He was talking that great joke about how when someone's telling a racist joke at a bar and they look around and then it's like a hot potato, he says the word and he sticks the ER and he puts it in your hand and you're like, you don't want it, you're trying to get rid of it. It's almost like become two different words. It's like the same way our ancestors split in evolution, like us and chimps, humans and chimps share an ancestor, and chimps are the result of one branch of that, and then Homo sapiens are another branch. The same thing's happened with the N-word. You got the N-word with the A on the end that black people use with each other as like a term of endearment. What's up? My N-word was, or that N-word over there or whatever. And then you got the one that's kind of dying out, but the one from yesteryear where you stick the landing on the ER and it's said by racists a lot of the times. So it's
kind of like boarding general and then boarding TSA a pre-check. It's like It's like most people use a pre-check. If you're still on boarding, dog, you're going to have a slow time trying to get on the plane, son.
That's a fucking great analogy, actually. It really is. It's like when they split on the line, it's like the N-word with the A on the end, that's pre-check.
And then when you go general boarding, people are like, are you sure you want to do this? Because there's a better route, you know?
Yeah, that's a good example. So that was the conversation Rogan was trying to have in one of those examples that was edited down to a second.
Understandable.
Yeah.
We get that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting convo. It's a historical convo. You're talking history, but it's a tightrope walk when you bring it up, you know? A tightrope walk that only someone as crazy as Yanni's willing to have.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Rogan, when you got millions of listeners, you got to be careful.
Very careful with your words. As far as comedy podcasters, you may not be able to say your R's, but he certainly could.
Yeah.
He certainly landed that.
He landed the ER, and the last one was just a racist joke. Okay? It was just a racist joke. Yeah. There's no way around it. It was a racist joke. Now, was it bad? Yeah, it's bad. It's racist. It was racist. Can racism sometimes be funny? Yeah, it can. I've heard it be funny. I've heard about all groups be funny. Is it inappropriate? Yeah. Is the funny thing sometimes the inappropriate thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Does it always lead to hate crimes and hate? No. Does it sometimes? Yeah. I mean, it depends. You know, this is the adult world here. None of us are pure. Stop acting like you're pure. Now, here's the thing. So much like Chapelle coming under fire, for now they're saying he doesn't care about poor people. He doesn't care about his own people. He's just, you know, wants to live in a white area, and he doesn't care about diversity. He doesn't care about working class people. He's coming under fire in all sorts of ways. Similarly, Rogan, you know, he hates black people. He's, you know, he's a racist. He's a sexist. Then they went after sexists, and that's why those people were right who were predicting they're going to go after everything. He's a sexist. He's a transphobe. He's a racist. He's alt-right. They're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him. Now, a few people came out just to keep it on Rogan for a second. A few comedians, which is always a little disappointing to me, when any comedian goes after another comedian earnestly about what they said. To me, that's kind of breaking comedian code. Our job is to try to find the line, tightrope walk, and sometimes we cross over. Sometimes we fuck up. You know, and we should have that empathy and sympathy for one another, knowing that's what we do. We're constantly trying to push boundaries. Nobody's perfect, and sometimes people say offensive shit. Sometimes you're wrong. Rogan fucked up on that last, Planet of the Apes joke. That was a racist joke. No way around it. Can't excuse it. Offensive. That doesn't mean, as a comic, you need to go after him. Now, a lot of times these people are going after, not a lot of times, let's be honest. The reason why they're going after him is because it's a trending topic. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. When you went after Whoopi, nobody really cares, okay? If Whoopi Goldberg died, how many people would take that day and mourn all day? They wouldn't. They go, oh, Whoopi Goldberg died, and then they'd continue on your day. So if you're not going to care about her death, don't tell me you care about what she said on The fucking View. Nobody gives a shit. We're all self-interested pieces of garbage who care about what's happening in our immediate sphere, and everything else is just gossip. It's gossip for us to gossip about, for to give you something to do, and for you to feel better. People love feeling better than other people, and when someone's down, people love kicking you. And that's all we do, especially someone who's up high.
Yep.
If you can find anything to kick them, you will. So that's mostly what it's about. So let's single out Trevor Noah for a second. Now, personally, there's something about Trevor Noah I'll always love because he took care of a very dear friend of mine who was also a friend of his. And so that means Trevor Noah is a great guy. He's also a very talented guy. And he's a comic. Am I a fan of The Daily Show now? I don't know. I don't watch it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there, so I can't comment on that.
The only thing that we know is that he's dressing like a light-skinned Ellen.
That's all we know. We're looking at that right now. He does look like he's wearing Ellen's suit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have the same fashionista. He called them up like, yo, send me the blazers.
Yeah. He's a South African kid. It's just always a weird look, man, when you got like somebody who's from another country talking about your own country all the time. You're like, dude, you're not from here. You know, it's like that Big Brother thing. Like you pick on your big brother, but then when somebody else picks on your big brother, you get mad because you're like, no, that's my big brother. I pick on him. It's sort of like this. You're going like, dude, this is our country. Like, let us talk about it.
Yeah.
Let us make fun of it. You can't make fun of it. You're not from here. That aside, Trevor Noah decided to weigh in on this Joe Rogan controversy. Now, this bears repeating, and as a reminder, when Trevor Noah got the Daily Show job, a whole bunch of his old tweets, and this is just a few of them. There was a whole bunch more that his publicist probably got wiped from the internet. There was a whole bunch more. One of them was about Aboriginal women, and it was bad. He's talking about how like they're all ugly and like, you know, it was pretty racist actually about the Aboriginal. We'll Google that one too. And another one was pretty harsh. It was about a Jewish kid crossing the street. It was a harsh one. Almost bumped a Jewish kid crossing the road. He didn't look before crossing, but I still wouldn't have felt so bad in my German car. I mean, youchie, 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 youchie. Let me read that tweet the way. Let me read the tweet with what's behind it. Almost bumped the Jewish kid crossing the road. He didn't look before crossing, but I still wouldn't have felt bad because I was in my German car. That's a bad one. When these jokes came out, and granted, they're jokes. They're not, Trevor Noah's not a hateful person. Joe Rogan's not a hateful person. I know Joe Rogan personally. I know things about Trevor, and I know Trevor through a very good friend, a dear friend who's passed away. They're both good dudes, right? They're both very rich dudes. Very rich dudes. These are jokes.
Yeah.
These are jokes that's not funny. It's a bad joke, and it's also a hateful and racist joke about killing a Jew and not feeling bad about it because you were in a German car and they have a history of killing Jews. It's obviously what it is. Now, if he was saying that amongst us, we would laugh, right? Let's just be honest. 3-4 people in a private setting, you may laugh. That's the whole point of humor. It's inappropriate. You're saying something inappropriate.
Of course.
Whenever I got in trouble in school and I made kids laugh, it wasn't because I was saying the right thing at the right time. You're a class clown because you're saying the inappropriate thing at the inappropriate time. That's what comedy is. Otherwise, you're just making statements. Mm-hmm. You know, if I went on stage and said racism's bad, what is funny about that? That's just everyone going like, yeah, this guy's giving a good speech. But if I went up there and I said, racism is great and here's why, then people are like, all right, this is what I'm here for. Jokes, right? Or if I say racism is bad, except for Ecuadorians, it already has a funny tone to it. It's an inappropriate. That's what comedy is. People gather around to share in the humility and the hypocrisy of being human and to celebrate our shittiness for 40 to an hour and a half. If I'm on stage, a show could go 2.5 hours. Yanni likes to go long. That's why they call me LongDays. I never saw a light I didn't like to run. So, I digress big time. Somebody said I should call the show I Digress. So Trevor Noah went after Rogan pretty hard, which, hey, look, you can't knock him. His stuff's getting no views. And if you throw Joe Rogan in the title, you're going to get some clicks. Mm-hmm. So he went after him, and he, quote, said, he tried to differentiate between using racism to try to be entertaining. And he said that was Joe's infraction. That was what Joe did wrong. Using racism to try to be entertaining. Can we just go back? Can you go back to that tweet again? Now, Whoopi Goldberg would say there's no racism here, but I think she got ratioed on that one. So let's just read that again. Originally, almost bumped a Jewish kid crossing the road with his car. He didn't look before crossing, but I still wouldn't have felt so bad in my German car, exclamation point. Now, if that's not using racism to be entertaining, Trevor, I don't know what is. Yeah. So, if that ain't the pot calling the kettle African American. God, why is my nose itchy? Trevor, you're being a hypocrite here, dog. Also, this guy vehemently defended you when people were coming after you when you got your job. And here, you're doing the same exact thing he did. You're telling a joke that didn't go good. Joe Rogan's Planet of the Apes jokes is just as bad as this. They're both bad. They're both using racism as entertainment. So what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? You're posting this shit as if this isn't the era of receipts, or as if we didn't remember when you got the Daily Show job. They came after you for all these tweets, all these jokes. Guess who defended you? Other comedians. Again, these are things you said, not that you did. When someone comedian is accused of doing something, I'm not going to defend it because that's an action, right? Saying shit. Our job is to speak recklessly.
Yep.
All right? That's what we do. Occasionally. How can you speak recklessly and never be reckless? It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to become a gymnast and walk that tight beam. You're going to fall on your pussy once in a while. Or your balls.
Or as the Brits say, fanny.
Or your fanny. But usually it's going to hit you right in the pus-pus.
Yeah.
Because when you fall, I mean, it's going to happen that way.
It's going to split the lips. Yep.
It's going to happen. You're not going to be able to learn how to be an expert Paul Walker or whatever it's called. I just called it a Paul Walker. Rest in peace. A pole walker.
Yeah.
A vault walker. What do they call that thing?
Vaults.
Who knows? The beam. The beam. You're not going to be an expert balance beam walker without falling on the pus-pus a few times.
Yep.
You're not going to learn how to be a great tightrope walking comedian without crossing the line a few times, making a few mistakes. You know, you can't crucify people for horrible things they've said, you know? You can examine it and find out if there's a pattern there, and if there's actions that follow this pattern and that make this person a bad person, sure. But I mean, 1 or 2 tweets from a comedian. Comedians don't hold any power in society. We don't make laws. You know, we're not the police. We can't execute the law. Our job is to make fun of stuff. He's trying to make fun of something and he crossed the line. He did the same thing in this tweet that Joe Rogan did with his words in his podcast. Okay? Now, let's take a peek at the Aboriginal tweet just to drive the point across. Trevor Noah, Aboriginal women. Comment roulette. Farrah from Teen Mom is selling her used toilet paper. Fumes.
Oh yeah, I heard she's selling her own like feces online.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. We really don't make anything in this country anymore. If someone was manufacturing, their product that they're manufacturing is their own shit on toilet paper.
That's what happens when you have no talent.
Yanni Gaddafi is looking regal today. Did you really get shot? Yes, I did. Okay. Can you even find the Aboriginal tweet? It's got to be there.
Yeah, it's just a lot of them shitting on the joke.
Yeah, many comics like to make lemonade from lemons. That's all. Very good point from the great Danny Cohen, who's a funny comic. You should go follow him. I love Danny. He's a great guy. You know, making fun of our own limits, our own biases, our own innate tribalism, you know, being honest and humble about who we are. None of us are holier than thou. We're all prone to bigotry, discrimination, judgment, lack of empathy. We're all prone to that.
Oh, it looks like it was a clip.
So what did he say in the clip? Because it was bad.
This video is no longer available due to copyright claim by David Meyer.
Oh, it's no longer available. Thank you to our high-powered lawyers over at Viacom. It's no longer available.
Look, here's him doing damage control.
What did he say? Can you read it, Jared? Okay, here you go. You're right. This is Trevor Noah responding. You're right. After visiting Australia's Bunjalaki Museum and learning about Aboriginal history firsthand, I vowed never to make a joke like that again. And I haven't. I'll make sure the clip from 2013 is not promoted in any way. Oh, you did make sure it wasn't promoted in any way. Thanks to the legal department of Viacom. Viacom owns Comedy Central, amongst other things. The joke was really bad. He was talking about how like horrible looking Aboriginal people are. So Trevor, what are you doing, dog? Are you that out of touch because you got $15 million houses You know, the kid lives in a $15-20 million mansion in LA, and he's got like the whole floor of like a condo building in Midtown. The kid is fucking loaded beyond belief. Are you that desperate? Are you that desperate to pile on a trending topic? Look at him now, doing commercials. I mean, get the fuck out of here. Doing an Uber commercial.
You got to call out Rogan, dog. That's the only way you get attention.
That's the only way.
Rogan is the booty pics for comics.
It is. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's really hypocritical. I'll say that. And we'll end on that. It's just hypocritical. It was a hypocritical move by Trevor. Again, I believe that banishing people for things that they say that are inappropriate, whatever they may be, doesn't show much empathy, doesn't show humility, doesn't show any insight into your own hypocrisy and limitations. It's very inhumane in a lot of ways. Comedy as a tool to make fun of these people and what they said, I think does a much better job of that.
Yeah.
Does a much better job of that. Whoopi says something stupid, lampoon the shit out of Whoopi. Okay? That's not the only stupid shit that's been said on The View, by the way. It's The View.
Yeah.
It's The View where two comics and a daughter of Ozzy Osbourne, who I don't know how he's still alive, and a daughter of John McCain or whoever sits on a panel and talks politics. You would think they were going to say one or two stupid things. You're not talking about a panel of fucking Harvard professors talking about geopolitical issues. You're talking about Kelly Osbourne weighing in on Israel.
Yeah.
What Whoopi said is not the stupidest thing that's been said on The View.
It's not.
The View is stupid. And it's for women. They got smaller brains. So we're starting from there. We've pointed out the basketballs are smaller and so are the brains. It's a joke. So, I mean, Whoopi gets suspended. I mean, you know, what does that do? Does that appease the bloodthirst?
No.
She's already been made fun of. She's already been joked about and why she's wrong so many times. Do you need to suspend her? What does that do? Oh, so you fire a guy. What does that do? What does that really do? Did he touch anyone? Did he commit a crime? Was there a crime committed? No. Oh, somebody said something stupid. Last I checked, that's what we were allowed to do in a free society, is say stupid things. Now, if a company wants to fire you and suspend you for whatever their reasons, you have the right to do that. But you know the reason they're doing it is to appease this sort of, like...
grandiose.
This mob, this like... Yeah. That's why they're doing it. They're not doing it for any other reason. It's because everyone's giving into this sort of lynch mob mentality. If anyone breaks this code of purity, this unsustainable, godlike code of purity, they need to be fired or suspended from something they said. It's bullshit. It's stupid. You got Whoopi Goldberg. She's a comedian. You don't think there's a risk she's going to say something stupid?
Yeah. It's like they hold the limelight to such a regard. But when really, you don't know... If you knew half the things that these people took to get into the limelight, then you wouldn't hold that up to the regard.
Exactly.
It took some ugly things to get to the fucking TV, dude.
Absolutely. That's the least probably Whoopi's done.
Yeah.
And if you could get everyone's phone and read their texts, we'd all be canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's made an inappropriate joke in private. This is funny. Tanayo says, we need to cancel another podcaster because today's news cycle has been dragging too long. There's not much going on. Yanni, we are being honest. We have all offended people in our lives. Like the one time I went to Uncle Paulie's paying for my sandwich, I got looks after not tipping the jar for his nephew's baseball team. Okay. So now we got more. There's more blood. There's more blood in the water because Jonathan Allen, who's a member of the Washington Commanders, I don't like that name. Okay, I'm saying, look, your name should be named after something that your city's about. It should have been named the Washington Corrupt Lobby Group. Mm-hmm. It should have been called the Washington Caught with a Boy in a Hotel Room Senators. It should have been called Washington K Streets. It should have been called the Washington $1 Trillion Debts Football Team. But it's called the Washington Commanders. He's a football player in the Washington Commanders. And Jonathan Allen, Jonathan Allen. I love when people forget that Twitter is public. And that just shows why are we not just making fun of it, dude? If Jonathan Allen would have said this in private, we would have all made fun of him. We would have had fun with it. It's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But when you tweet this stuff, you forget like you're releasing a public statement. That's how my buddy Neil Rosen got in trouble. My old roommate from college, who's a journalist, like was a respected war journalist. And then he started arguing with people on Twitter about when Lara Logan got sexually assaulted by a mob in Iraq. And he said something stupid, and he was like, and then he was, next thing you know, you're on CNN, you're on Anderson Cooper, looking all sad, going, I'm sorry. You know, Kevin Harlan has the right idea. My co-host Olivia from Unleashed, her father, Kevin Harlan, the sports announcer, he doesn't have Twitter. He doesn't have. Pete Davidson has no Twitter. But hey, look, the rest of us are trying to build a fan base. There's a thin line between winning over a bunch of people and alienating a bunch of people, and you can't win everybody over nowadays. So you got to take the risk sometimes. And boy, did Jonathan Allen take the risk. And hey, look, a lot of people didn't know who Jonathan Allen was before this, okay? All right, he's not Jonathan Taylor. Mm-hmm. When I hear Jonathan, first thing I was like, who was it again? Was it Jonathan Taylor? And you're like, no, it's Jonathan Allen. I was like, who the fuck is Jonathan Allen?
Exactly.
Jonathan Allen plays on the Washington Commanders, and he tweeted, someone asked him, who would he like to speak to from history?
Yeah, who would you have, 3 people that you would have dinner with?
Yeah, you know, that's an old, well-known question. If you could talk to anyone in history, who would you talk to? They asked me that actually on the Babylon Bee podcast. I said Queen Elizabeth, because of the success of her reign and doing that as a woman and like the marketing of that and making herself the virgin queen and playing off the psychology of Catholics and giving her that purity. She was brilliant. That era flourished. You know, that's when England dominated. I'd love to sit down with her. A dictator, a benign dictator who ruled for 7. Benign's subjective. She did cut the head off of her cousin, but you know, you got to do what you got to do to stay in power sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'd like to. They asked me that same question. I said Queen Elizabeth, Jack Johnson, which you're going to watch a documentary, Unforgivable Blackness. That dude was like he came. It almost feels like he came from 1997 and like time traveled to 1900 when he was boxing. Incredible. Unforgivable Blackness is a documentary you all got to see about the boxer Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson, Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, and my third one was Julius Caesar. I'd love to know, you know, because another guy, it's just fascinating me, like, how did you do it, you know? As the first dictator of Rome, the first Caesar, everyone's been trying to emulate him. You know, Kaiser is a German word for Caesar, and then the Nazis even they wanted to emulate Rome. Everyone wants to emulate Rome because it had a 1,000-year run. That's a good run, dude. So I'd love to meet those dudes. Jonathan Allen had a different choice.
Yes, he did.
Jonathan Allen went with his grandfather. Mm-hmm. That's a real, you know, when he said him, he started with his grandfather. People were like, you know, Jonathan Allen is a great dude, man. His grandfather's his idol. I guess who's coming next? Probably, you know, Jackie Robinson, or, you know, he wants to talk to Jackie Robinson, or, you know, maybe he wants to talk to, you know, Thurgood Marshall, or, you know, he wants to maybe talk to Frederick Douglass. That's the direction you thought he was going in when he said grandfather.
Yeah.
But he made what you call a hard right. Yeah. He made a hard turn. He was going one way, and he went, you know.
Much like the Washington Commanders records, his choices got progressively bad.
He did. And he went from there to what?
He went to Michael Jackson, which is okay. King of
Kind
Pop.
of.
King of Pop.
King of Pop slash
if you're a little
King of Pedophilia.
If you're King of the Peas. If you're a little younger, you go, all right. But if you're older, okay, we understand that. We get that. And then he just really stuck the landing, and he said, good old Hitler. Good old Adolf. He wants to sit down and have a couple of streusels with him.
He just got off the phone with Whoopi Goldberg, and he was curious.
He made an executive decision.
He went with Hitler. And then a bunch of people asked, why would you choose that? And he said what?
And he said, one, I am a military guy. I'm fascinated with military minds, and he was the greatest one. So I'd like to pick his brains about that. But also, I would like to figure out what was going on through his brain when he did what he did.
Okay, now
he prefaced this with, this dinner is going to be with honesty. So every time I ask a question, the person that I'm asking has to return with honest answers.
Right. Look, again, if he was saying this a bunch of his boys, Everyone would have fun with it.
It's fine. Yeah, most of them have CTE, so they're not gonna remember the conversation anyway. Yeah.
Right. But saying it on Twitter, it's gonna raise a few eyebrows. First of all, yeah, when you say he's a great military mind, great is subjective.
Yeah.
It's a little controversial. You don't want to put the word great with Hitler.
You can't really
That's
do that.
one word you just don't want in the sentence near Hitler. You want the word Hitler and the word great to be like 4 to 8 days apart. You don't want them to be said in the same day.
Yeah, you need some business day shipping in between there when you say
Some
it.
business day shipping. Yeah. 5 to 7 working days.
Yep.
So you have that right there. And
Because he wasn't great. He was backed by money, really. Companies helped him build the German army up. Really.
Exactly.
Like you told me. Yeah.
it was like the technology of the German war machine.
Yeah. So
A
to
lot
say
of companies.
to say he's a great military mind, it's like to say the Kardashians are great looking. Like, no, that's built by money.
Built by money
It's for all
and
fake.
technology.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when you see them without makeup and all the work they've done, they're not that great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And a lot of squats. They did a lot of squats to get those asses big. A lot of hard
squats.
work. Hitler was, I would say he's more, I wouldn't say great or famous, he's more infamous. That's the word. He did, part of his military plan was to put people in camps. So that's no bueno. Also, Jonathan, see, there I go again. Jonathan Allen, do you really want to talk to Michael Jackson? Like, is that really going to be a fun conversation?
Yeah. First of all, you're not
He's
going
going
to
to
be
be
able
like,
to
hey, you
hear
want to
him.
climb trees?
Yeah.
He's going to be like, no, man, I got to go to football practice. Oh, come on, man. You want to make some time to climb some trees and hang out with some 7-year-olds and come pet my monkey and go on my roller coaster? And Jonathan Allen's going to be like, nah, dog, I'm going to the Cheesecake Factory with my girl. Like, I'm an adult. I got a day off. And then I got to go back to training camp.
Yep.
Do you really want to talk to Michael Jackson?
No. But when Hitler hears the word camp, he's going to get excited.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he just wants to talk about training. He wants to talk about their different experiences with camps. He goes, I go to camp and it's on HBO and it's preseason. You go to a camp, you have a different idea what happens there. Why did you call it camp? First of all, why did they call it camp? Why would you call something so not fun camp?
Yeah.
Imagine you were in there and they're like, welcome to the camp. And you're like, yo, dog, I've been to camp, okay? We sat around, we cooked some s'mores, and we went horseback riding.
Yeah.
This is not camp. Can we stop calling them camps? Can we just call them what they are? Prisons or... why is the word camp used for those? Why was Auschwitz called a camp?
It's genocide spots.
Yeah, genocide spots. Let's think of a better word right now, what they would be. It's not a camp.
Yeah,
You can't call Auschwitz a camp. All right? I went to camp. First girl I finger popped was camp. I don't remember any humans going into furnaces. Yeah, camp's just not a good word for that.
Not a good word.
All right. So Jonathan Allen, what's going to happen to Jonathan Allen now? Is he going to have to do this ceremonial walk of shame from Game of Thrones? Like, what do you do now? Like, what does he do? Is he going to have to? A Patton Oswalt's coming soon. I'm sorry. Him and his lawyer's going to sit down. I'm so sorry. What I meant was I'm a history lover, and I wanted to explore the evil mind of Hitler and what went so wrong. And
Yeah, here it is. Here's
oh,
the
here we go.
apology.
He's already released one. Here we go. Jonathan Allen. He later apologized. The apologies always come. I was just answering a question. If not the most evil persons to have ever lived, but this was a hypothetical question. It's like, yeah, John, I think we get all that now. We already know that. What's your explanation? Early, I tweeted something that probably hurt people. I love the probably hurt people. And I apologize about what I said. I didn't express properly what I was trying to say, and I realized it was dumb. When pressed on his dinner... Are people not allowed to say stupid shit anymore? Big deal. He said something stupid. Following the initial tweet, Allen said he was merely saying why it would be interesting to speak with Hitler, not giving him props. Look, I'm not bigging him up. You know what I mean? I'm not giving him props. He also said Hitler, the German dictator, who who initiated World War II and the Holocaust, is easily, if not the most evil person to have ever lived. But this was a hypothetical question. And he's right. It's a fantasy. If I could talk to someone from history. So what? Guy wants to talk to Hitler.
Yeah.
So fucking what?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, women have rape fantasies, so he can have a Nazi fantasy.
Yeah, why can't he, you know? And who says he wants to talk to Hitler about anything having to do with that? Maybe he wants to just have a nice talk about, you know, what his favorite German dessert is. Hitler was a big dog lover. Maybe he wants to talk about dogs.
Yeah.
Mustache grooming.
Mustache grooming. He wants to know what's up with that. By the way,
he did say that he wanted to know why he did what he did.
He wanted to know why he did what he did. But maybe he was talking about what he did with his dog training.
That's true. That's true.
That's funny. He just show up with Hitler. He's like, hey, man, why did you do what you do? And he would be like, I wrote a whole book about it. Everyone knows why I did what I did, Jonathan Allen. It's because they don't like Jews. I think I made that clear. How more clear could Hitler have been about why he did what he did? Why are all these people, why are him and Whoopi going like, what was going on with that? They're like re-examining, going, I don't think we know everything we need to know about what was going on with the Nazis. I think we can pretty much wrap a bow on that one. I think Hitler made it pretty clear through his own mouth why he was doing what he was doing and why. But I love how Jonathan Allen's like, no, man, it's got to be about childhood. Let's get deeper. Like, yo, Hitler, tell me about what it was like to be a kid. Was there a girl that rejected you? And, he's probably right. It's always like some stupid childhood thing that makes you like this. I don't mean Jonathan Allen was right. I don't mean Hitler was right. Don't edit this into something after I get huge. And
Jonathan Allen
they could just edit
right.
and go like, Hitler, right. And then me doing the voice. Hitler was bad, 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 bad. It's a conclusion. He was bad, bad, bad. Bad.
It's bad for him, man. He's got to apologize. Jonathan Allen now, much like the Redskins, is going to have to change his name.
Yeah, he may have to change his name
the
now.
Washington Commanders is going to have 3 sacks from a Noah Goldblum.
Just like Enos Cantor changed it to Enos Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go with the opposite of what your reputation is. Like Ron Artest became Meta World Peace.
Yep.
There's one thing that Ron Artest is not, and that is world peace. No, he represents elbows to the face that put you on the IR for 3 months. So Jonathan Allen, he was an all-pro. He's a good player. Not a great tweeter. You can't expect the guy's going to be a great tweeter. What can you do? What can you do? So Joe Biden, I'm sorry. People are making... you see, this is what you do with it. Have fun with it. People are making memes with him just saying, I'm sorry. Joe Biden is handing out crack pipes. Is that what's going on?
Yep.
So what's this? What is this? What is this about? What is this about? I know the stories we got left here are Asians are dominating figure skating, and the New York Times wrote an article about it. Who gives a crap? I mean, this is lets you know that there's too many journalists. There's too much content to fill. They wrote a story about how Asians are dominating in figure skating, and they called them overrepresented. It used to be all white girls, and now it's Asians. Who cares? You know what used to be all white girls and boys too, and is now all Asians? Ivy League admissions. I mean, what do you want? They work harder. What do you want? I mean, what's the story? Culturally, some people like things more than others. You know? What do you want? You know? It's not just about the fact that figure skating costs money and Asians make a lot of money, which at least you admitted, which was nice. The New York Times admitted that Eastern Asians are very affluent, because that's the truth. Asian women have a higher average income than white men. In fact, white men ain't really, they're like 4th or 5th on the list right now of average medium income. They're getting beat by like Nigerians are above them, Indians are above them, South Asians, and a few other groups. Philippines, I think there's a bunch, because immigrants just work harder because they came from a place where they had no opportunity and they're just happy to be here. It's about time we all kind of checked our own spoiledness and started appreciating this country a little bit more like immigrants appreciate this country for all the opportunity it presents. We have our problems, and those are good to mention. But also, if you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's also many positive aspects to this country as well. Like being able to get a sandwich at 2 a.m. in New York City, that's great.
Very,
There's
very
a lot
underrated.
of good things. So Joey Biden, who has the lowest approval rating yet, I think he's polling at 30% or 40% at this point. The kid just can't catch a break. Decides right now we have an inflation problem. We have a supply chain problem. We got protests at the border with truckers, which we'll get to as well. We got so much to get to. I spent so much time on cancer culture. Basically, there's a protest at the border, and Canada doesn't know what to do. They're going to maybe call in the military. The United States doesn't know what to do because they're blocking the border, and all these goods going back and forth are being blocked. So this is really hurting our economy and millions of dollars of losses every day. And it's because the truckers are sick of the mask mandate. At this point, dog, it doesn't matter. I think you just got to say, we got to open up. People are done with it. That's it. You can't keep yelling numbers. You've been yelling numbers for 2-3 years. Like we've said, most people are either vaccinated, had a prior infection or whatever. What can you do at this point? People are done. Mm-hmm. This isn't China where the government can just say what we're going to do forever. These are representatives of the people, and the people are speaking, and they're fucking done. It's been almost 3. Are we going on 3 years now? So I mean, what can you do? You know, you're gonna. The people are protesting. They've had enough. The truckers don't want the mandates anymore. What can you do?
People are losing faith, man.
They're just losing faith. They've had enough. That's it. They want to get back to some type of normalcy. You can say what you want till the cows come home about the dangers, but people don't care. Okay? People don't care. This isn't the first pandemic that's happened. And in fact, this same thing happened with the 1918 Spanish flu. Towards the end, people started ripping their masks off. There were mandates. Everything. This is not a unique thing. Everything that has happened with COVID and its social consequences also happened with the Spanish flu. Verbatim, almost verbatim. You look back, there was anti-mask movements. There were people who had the masks on and were mad at the people who didn't. All this thing, everything has happened. The economy, questions, all this stuff has happened. And now, what's happening now with people being fed up with the pandemic and mandates and all this is exactly what happened towards the end of the Spanish flu too, where people just said, we're done. We don't care the risks. We don't care. It's over. So that's what's happening. Supposedly, it's a big crisis now. It's really affecting the economies. And what can you do? What can you do? You know, at least the northern border, you can block. The southern border, they'd find ways. There's plenty of tunnels and little fences truckers could just drive over.
Yeah, man.
Too bad we don't have all these import and exports coming in that are affected. I guess the auto industry is being very affected by this or whatever. You could never do this on the southern border. There's just too many ways in, dog.
No. Shit is wide open.
It's a lot more porous and a lot more vast, right? Which is more vast, Jesse? You're our geography expert.
Oh, yeah. You forgot to have a GD.
Yeah, it's a longer border. I think it's a longer border. Or maybe, I don't know. No, it can't be a longer border. That was the stupidest thing I ever said. Yeah. That was one of the stupidest things I've ever said, because it's really just Mexico as a country.
Yeah, but ends at Texas and Florida. It's between Louisiana and Texas. It's
not as long as the Canadian border.
No.
The only thing is nobody's trying to sneak into Canada. And Canadians ain't trying to sneak into here. They're both pretty good countries,
unless you're Drake's son.
Unless you're Drake's son, you're trying to... Yeah, the only people trying to come over the border from Canada are like entertainers trying to get their visas.
It looks like Canada's government is going to have to face a blackout, with the imports and the exports is going to take a toll. And the blackout, the only other blackout that the Canadian government has saw was Justin Trudeau's face at that Halloween party. So, it's going to surprise them.
Yeah. I mean, that kid did blackface.
Yeah, and they said they hit him in America with this whole thing. He definitely wasn't in Detroit.
Yeah, just to go back for one, because I forgot about one, which is really funny. Can we go back to Michael Ian Black, because he went after Rogan as well. Michael Ian Black N-word. So Michael Ian Black's a comic too. You might know him from Who's the 80s or whatever VH1 show. He was from The State, which was the sketch show on MTV, and he went after Rogan. And then, of course, within minutes, somebody pulled up his blog from a couple years ago. His, one of his blogs. You could probably find it on Twitter. Can you find it on Twitter, Jared, real quick? Michael Ian Black. Joe Rogan. It'll probably come up. Michael Ian Black, Joe Rogan. And then he just was quiet real quick because he tried to like really go off on Rogan. And we know that, but yeah, Michael Ian Black.
This is something that he wrote?
Yeah, something that he wrote. And Jesse, while you're at it, pull up just Ethan Klein N-word. He'll find the other one. Ethan Klein N-word. That'll come up quick. So Ethan Klein he's a massive podcaster. From what I understand, he's friends with the head of YouTube or whatever, so probably gets preferential treatment. Who knows? This will probably get taken down. Here we go. Yeah, this is Ethan Klein. That video is probably Ethan Klein, right? Let's see if it's Ethan Klein.
This one? You want me to play it?
Yeah, let's see if this is it. Yeah.
Play this?
Yeah. Yeah. This is Ethan Klein.
It's just a wonderful string of words that really gets you going. Fuck you. I love that I can just say. How did this become a thing in Western culture where all these grown men and little girls are jerking off to little K-pop boys? It's like a little twink gay fetish about these K-pop boys, though. I love saying these Bollywood stars somehow always look like janitors or something. This guy doesn't look badass. And aren't all Indians the goofiest people you've ever met in your life? I wouldn't exactly call it clean cut. He's got the hair of a fucking 60-year-old dude with a goddamn shitty toupee. You know, women are in a nature setting, like, to be conquered. Indian people are goofy. All of them. 100% of them. Can I not say that I don't like any Indian person? I love that I can say n***. I love saying n***.
So there's also another compilation where he's actually in blackface for a sketch. So Ethan Klein, that audio is going to come out sounding horrible, right?
Yeah.
Because it was too loud
shitty.
or something?
No, it was just shitty audio.
So that was Ethan Klein, and that wasn't even the best compilation. I know that took a while, but there's also one him doing blackface and him saying the N-word a bunch of other times. So there you go. So as soon as he went after Joe Rogan, he said it's never good in any context. They went, you're going to have to stop it because it's going to play again.
Isn't this guy a troll? Is he just trolling?
No.
He's being sincere.
He was being sincere. He's
Really?
been going after Rogan a lot lately. Yeah, he went after Rogan for the vax stuff. And then he hopped on hard on Rogan. Every one of these guys that went after Rogan really hard, the internet just within like the day came up with this. And this, I've seen another compilation that was worse than this. And then Michael Ian Black, it was the same thing. You still haven't found it?
No, it's just I see a lot rape things, but not anything about black people.
Go Michael Ian Black, just say the N-word and the F-word, and it may come up. It's so good. I love how these things aren't so easy to find, but then if we just put in Joe Rogan, the first thing that would come up is the N-word video. Everyone's guilty, my friends. That'll be the name of the episode. Everyone's guilty.
Yeah, look at this. No results.
No results for Michael Ian Black says N-word. No results. It's there. I read it. It was from his, what was it, blog post? What was that thing people used to blog on? Blogger, yeah. Yeah. I tweeted, I just watched an N-word's greatest hit compilation from the Young Turks. That was another one. We're not going to play it. It's up there. The Young Turks, Ethan Klein. And then people go, oh, but the Young Turks were quoting other people saying it. And then you go, didn't you say you shouldn't say it in any context? Those are your rules. Mm-hmm. The Young Turks, Ethan Black, and read a blog from Michael Ian Black about the N-word and why he says it. I read a bunch of old tweets from Trevor Noah using racism to be entertaining. Is this really how we want to live? I mean, seriously, guys. He who is without bad tweet cast the first tweet. We really are digressing back to the beginning of the show, but the only thing we have left is the free crack pipes and the nun who stole $850,000 to gamble. That's just a great story, dude. Imagine a nun having a gambling problem. 80-year-old California nun was sentenced to prison. Are you really going to put her in prison for stealing from the Catholic Church? Shouldn't she get a ribbon? Isn't that one of the most modern Robin Hood stories you've ever heard in your entire life? Come on, celebrate this woman, dog. First of all, she's a nun with a gambling problem. I mean, if that doesn't become a movie starring
Meryl
Streep or Jessica Lange, or who was the girl from Misery? She would be a great one.
Oh yeah, she's good.
Who is that?
I like Frances McDormand too.
Frances McDormand. I mean, make this into a movie, dog. I mean, how fun. This is a real story. This sounds like a Coen Brothers movie. So, 80-year-old Mary Margaret, I mean, you can't get more Catholic than that, Kruper, pled guilty to 1 count of wire fraud and 1 count of money laundering for stealing $835,000 from St. Jane's Catholic School, where she worked for 20. First of all, why does the Catholic school have $1 million to be stolen by a? I mean, where are they getting all this money, man?
That's a good point.
Where she worked for 28 years. I mean, are we going to forget all her service to the Catholic Church just because she put a little money on St. Bonaventure?
No.
Large gambling expenses incurred at casinos and certain credit card charges. Can you imagine her just rolling up to a casino being like, put $100,000 on Floyd Mayweather to take him down in the 6th?
And she's just unrolling the ones from the communion.
And then the guy just goes, thank you, sister. Yeah, he's just unrolling the ones from the, they're all crumpled up dollar bills. Oh, man. The theft occurred over the course of 10 years. She's got to pay back the school. What if she's like, I can't pay it back. I lost all those bets. She's like, that's what happens when you bet on the slow horses. I have sinned, I've broken the law, and I have no excuse. My actions were in violation of my vows, my commandments, the law, and above all, the sacred trust. Listen, sister, compared to what other people in the Catholic clergy have done, what you've done is bake cookies.
Yeah.
What you've done is equivalent to baked cookies in the context of what certain clergy members have been accused of.
This is a little refreshing.
This is actually refreshing news.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? This is actually refreshing news to hear about this. It almost perked me up and made me smile to know that somebody was not raping a child within the walls of the Catholic Church.
If the Catholic Church was GTA, she would have half a star right now.
She would have half a star. So hats off to you, Mary Margaret. Was able to steal so much money for a decade by falsifying reports and making the administration believe that the school's finances were being properly accounted for. They were probably going, in the Catholic Church, nobody wants to suspect or accuse anyone of everything, but they were going, Sister Mary, just one question. Are we donating to any charity called Mohegan Sun? Just, can you remind me again if there's one? Mohegan Sun, and then it says here you took 15 trips to Nevada.
Doing the Lord's work.
It's just, yes, I'm doing the Lord's work. We went down there. There are some orphanages there. There was also a few college games I wanted to catch.
She was balling out. She was balling out too.
Yeah, Sister Mary, why were you in Reno last June? Oh, well, there's the church down there is having some problems with their finances, so I went down to straighten a few of those kids out. And yeah, it says here there's a couple of credit card charges at the food court at Caesars. Oh, well, I was mentoring a child, and the child's from Philly, and she really wanted a Philly cheesesteak, so we went to Jackie's South Jersey Subs.
She had charges for a Versace rosary.
Sister Mary, says here you made a deposit into your personal account for $3 million from the Apache Nation bank account. Yeah, I was doing some missionary work with the Indians. Yeah, no, it's just a large work happening. Sister Margaret's just gambling on God. Take your risk assessment on God. She did a good job. So she's going to jail. I think we should free Mary Margaret.
Yeah.
Free Mary Margaret. You know, she didn't do anything that bad.
No.
She didn't do anything that bad. And so Biden is handing out crack pipes, right? So what's the story here? Because this is a fun one, Jesse. And you are our drug expert. You have contacts with the DEA, Department of Homeland Security. What's going on here, Jesse? What are they doing? So the program, overseen by HHS, would help make drug use safer for addicts by providing funds to nonprofits and local governments. The grant includes funds for smoking kits.
They're calling them smoking kits and supplies.
And supplies for drug addicts. Will provide pipes for users to smoke crack cocaine, crystal meth, and any illicit substance. Why, thank you, Uncle Sam.
You want to see a picture? Look.
Yeah.
This comes in your kit.
That's your government-granted crack pipe. And so why are they doing this? Is it because of the dangers of disease spread or whatever?
For
Yeah, that should work.
It's a provision for an overdose prevention program.
Overdose prevention program. How do you think this is going to work? Do you think we're going to see overdoses go down? Or, I mean, what do you think is the primary motivator for people who overdose? Is it that they got dirty crack pipes and they overcompensate by doing too much heroin because their crack pipes were dirty? Or do you think it's just that they love heroin? Or do you, I mean, I can't see anyone smoking less heroin just because the crack pipe says USA made. I mean, a crack pipe's a crack pipe.
Yeah. I think they put the vaccine in the syringe.
Maybe that's a good, dude,
Yeah.
that was a plan I had a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was like, you want people to take the vaccine, just put it in fentanyl.
You're not smoking that crack.
Yeah.
You're smoking that Moderna.
Know your
son.
audience.
Yeah.
Put it in the crack pipe. Put it in fentanyl. Put it in heroin.
What is normalizing crack smoking going to do for society, though?
I don't know.
Imagine you go to your local Chili's, you see a waitress just smoking crack outside.
I just don't know if taxpayers, if there was a these are these programs where you go like, if this was a referendum to taxpayers, would the vote be yes, let's spend our money on drug kits for drug users? No. I just think,
I mean, Dave Chapelle doesn't even want to give affordable houses. You think he was going to give crack?
Yeah, I mean, this is like, this could be spent at schools for teacher salaries, cop salaries, nurses salaries, social worker salaries.
They should just legalize everything.
I mean, yeah, they should.
Just legalize it.
They should legalize it and district it.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be legal everywhere because that's your own backyard thing. Like, nobody wants crackheads on their neighborhood, but there should be certain areas, like in The Wire, where they sectioned off those few blocks to test and let it be legal within those few blocks. Yeah. And just because all the people would flock to those areas.
Yeah.
And then you just stay away from those areas. Or give them an island, dude. Epstein's island is vacant. Make that shit Crackhead Island.
Portugal did it.
Portugal did it and it works.
They had great results.
Yeah. Well, what they did was they didn't legalize the selling of it. They legalized the usage of it. They decriminalized the usage of it. But it's still illegal to sell, which I think is a great policy. It shouldn't be legal. You can't let it take over your society. You have to regulate it. It's dangerous and people are gullible and people get depressed and it's addictive. So there has to be any good government, and this is where you fall, this is, that's a liberal belief, that's a socialist belief, that's a nanny state belief. I mean, whatever. I just think when you look at it, it's a good thing for the government to district and control it. You don't want your kids having access to fucking legal drugs. You can't just be laissez-faire with everything. Those are what utopians on the right always talk about. Just the market will handle everything. That's not how the real world works. Just the same way if you're on the left, it's like, just let the government redistribute everything. That's not the way human nature works. People are corrupt. They're selfish. It's going to go wrong. There's a great line in the movie State of Grace. I thought I could do this. I thought I could come back, I'd keep Jack out of it. I'd put this guy, it was about, a guy who went undercover to put all his Irish mob friends who he grew up with in prison. And it goes wrong because he goes, it was just an idea. It had nothing to do with reality. Like you believe in a state of grace, like there's angels, but it's just an idea. There is a difference between an idea and reality.
Yeah. And you need limitations on reality.
There's no such thing as a perfect circle in reality.
No.
A perfect circle exists as an idea, but once you implement it into reality with the laws of gravity and such, mathematically you cannot achieve a perfect circle. There's a difference between the platonic realm and the realm we inhabit. So stop disregarding the one we inhabit with your ideas, your proposals, and your judgments. This has been Long Days, and we'll see you next time. Right now, let's get to some small business shout-outs.
Business sponsors here, guys. Nicola Ragusa, it's a new one, new to the Fediverse. You didn't send in the copy, so send that in. Your first name sounds Russian, the last name I don't know. You might be hot though, so send in that copy. Next one, Longshore Coffee, guys. Longshore Coffee. It's a bit about the business. It's a Longshore Coffee. It's new. It's a small batch coffee roastery located in Providence, Rhode Island, offering premium blends and single origin coffees. They ship nationwide. And they can offer free local delivery in Rhode Island. So if you're in Rhode Island, Providence, that area, you want to get yourself a nice little chicken pot pie, you can do that in that area. They're for denizens. I don't know what that word means, but Yannis does.
Get smarter!
Of the Fediverse. He's offering 50% off at a checkout with the promo code FUME. So it's cold now in Rhode Island and New England. So get that coffee now. Warm yourself up with a little bit of coffee and start your day off with a little bit of racism. So go to longshorecoffee.com and use the code FUMES at checkout, guys. Do that.
Yeah, and you can order it anywhere. It's not just that area. You can get it anywhere in the world delivered to you.
Anywhere in the world, but they got that local delivery free, so they'll bring it to you, all right? And they'll have an accent that you may not be able to understand if you're from anywhere else but the Northeast.
What's up, kid? You want your coffee?
Next one, Nate Linder. Guys, he's a screwed-in freelance digital marketing consultant and manager in Denver, but originally from Chicago, that can crack open and clean out your digital marketing game. He helps businesses across the world create high-performing websites, rank #1 in the spot on Google, and build a brand and profit from social media and much more. He specializes in working with construction companies, doctors, lawyers, mob businessmen. No, I'm kidding. But has found success in marketing in dozens of industries. And if your business is making money, then go to him. All right. From the internet, it looks nice. He can market for you. If you're on the internet and you're not into child porn, hit up to Nate Linder. and you probably should be with Nate Linder because the guy, he knows what he's doing. So go to natelinder.com to get in touch. That's NATELINDER.com. That is it's another word that Joe Rogan might not like that starts with an N and ends with an ER. All right. Next up, we got Chris Minetti. You guys know what the Chris Minetti. He's just a criminal. Okay, he might be a criminal. We don't know. Okay, but he might be into some criminal activity. If you're in the South Jersey, Philly area, or as Giannis likes to call it, South Philly, Jersey area, and you need some financial services, hit him up. Where's he at right now? There's a whole lot of messages about his kid.
Good, a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Where did we go again? DeSandrios?
D'Alessandro's. Went to D'Alessandro's in Philly. Got a nice little provolone. The onions burnt my nostrils. So I was crying. I don't see his... Where is it?
His phone. It's just his phone number.
It's just his phone number.
It's just his phone number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Call Chris.
Yeah, just call Chris Minetti for financial services. If you're about to go under and your house is on the market and it's about to be foreclosed, call Chris. He's going to save you. All right?
The number should be on there. 215. I think I remember the area code. 215.
Sounds about right.
215.
Yeah, I see it right here. Okay, it was under his messages about his kids. 215-750-3730. Call him up. No website, no social media, old school. I mean, come on. That's just right on the money. Bronx brand, Michael Hamlet Jr. I bought a nice little canvas from you guys. It looks very nice. It's hanging up in my living room. My mom loves it. So that's nice. The Bronx brand is a showcase of Bronx creativity, guys. They collab with local artists to celebrate the vibrant culture of the Bronx and New York City as a whole. Each Bronx artist they work with each earns a revenue share with each sale. So every purchase you make helps supports a local artist. So from prints to clothing to stories with the Bronx magazine, the Bronx brand, it's uplifting of the home of hip hop. So if you love anything about Bronx or New York, go in there, slide up in there, get you a little shirt, get you a little, coffee canvas, do that. Go to Bronx, get you a chopped cheese and try not to get stabbed. So do that at thebronxbrand.com. Go support, go follow their Instagram. It's really nice.
Also, they got a promo code with Fumes.
Promo code Fumes, yes. Go on there, get the promo code with Fumes, get yourself something nice.
I just bought the coffee cup shirt.
Oh, the Greek one?
Yeah, the Greek coffee cup shirt. It's dope.
I got to get the canvas too.
Yeah, it's dope. They got cool stuff up there.
All right, Aaron Lee for the Free. It's a rap collective from Hawaii that doesn't sell any music or merchandise or tour. But if you live in Hawaii, come to their free galas. All of the music videos, and live show information is at the forthefree.us, forthefree.us. It's all free. They have the videos of their events, so if you want to see what they're like, follow them for an update or new events, so exclusively in Hawaii. All information of our website, new gala, once Hawaii actually opens up, because they're not opened up. Tourism is usually their main form of income. But, the barrier reefs, they're kind of dying, so they got to come back before COVID. So essentially, they just want to help Hawaii's music scene because everyone just leaves for the West Coast. They don't really have an open mic in Hawaii. All right, they just sit on the beach and they clap with palm trees. So just go out there, Hawaii, support them, support where the rock is from. They're good people, good music. And then the last one, Jared Z from the Stink Box from Tallahassee. Is looking for that Harry Yanni P to make me a cuzzy. Still don't know what that means. But Jared Z from the Stink Box, he's looking for the Yanni P to make me a cuzzy. I'm a little hurt, but I'll live.
This one's just this guy is just, that's exclusiveautoshipping.com.
Oh yeah, exclusive auto. He's a loyal listener, so thank you for being a part of the Fediverse, a Fedivarian, if you will.
Yes.
And he's the owner of the Exclusive Auto Shipping. He has over 8+ years of experience in the moving industry and has been operating his company since 2016. He can help ship your vehicle from point A to point B with ease, but most importantly, back to point A. Did you buy a car out of state, or you might be moving? He can walk you through the process and also offers free quotes. Student and military discounts are available. Visit the website exclusiveautoshipping.com. I repeat, exclusiveautoshipping.com. Then fill out the form or call the number on the website, and that is it.
Oh shit! I forgot to hit record. We got to do that again.
For the last one?
The whole thing.
Whole thing? Okay, I'm not sure if you're joking, but I'll do it.
Oh, fuck it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I saw his eyebrows.
All right, we want to welcome our newest members, our newest long haulers to the Cyclops cult, into the Fediverse. Let's give a shout out to Nick Ladevio. Then we got Randy Lee, Dennis Young, Nicola Ragusa, our latest shout out. Send your copy so we know what you're promoting. Then we got Long Dick with Yannis Pappas, Thomas Witten, Daniel Serrano, Justin, AJ, can't get hard unless you suck my dick, babe. Yeah, it is what it is. Sauceda. Charles Douglas, Jorge Tarango, Kirby Kohler. Kirby's a good name. It's an under Kirby. Hey, Kirby. Then we got Missy Nassim. Butt Stuff. That's just his name. Butt Stuff. John DeMay. Good day, Mrs. Pappas. Detective Z, NYPD. I need to talk to your husband. New evidence makes us believe that the 01 shooting was self-harm. It was, yeah, was it 01? Yeah, it was 01. Then we got Landon Walter, Jason Maz, Fernando, Aiden, Tyler Bargman, Sean Mack, Cameron, Wasey Jukeys, Patrick Murdaugh, Soul Explorer. Welcome, guys. Patreon.com/Yanni LongDays for your weekly bonus episode. It's called Extra Long Days. It's great. You're going to love it, and we'll see you next week.
It's been a